and this is our first video that I scheduled for the online classes, right? So I hope that you will do a lot with this because I have scheduled it and planned it well. So our first lesson today is the clown's wife. The clown's wife. So it will be more important. It's very important if you keep your tute with you, and while I teach, you have to refer the tute and do not write the answers or the questions, but refer it and write some notes which when I'm explaining the things, right? So the clown's wife. Please open up your tutes and let's recite the poem. Recite the poem. Come on, start to recite the poem.
The clown's wife. About my husband, the clown, what could I say? On stage, he's a different person. Up there he's a king on a throne, but at home you should hear him moan the moment he walks through that door without that red nose and them funny clothes. He seems to have the world on his shoulder. I do me best to cheer him up, poor soul. I juggle with eggs, I turn cartwheels, I tell jokes, I do me latest card trick. I even have a borrow of his red nose, but he doesn't say exactly how he feels, doesn't say what's bothering him inside. Just sits there saying almost to himself, a life, what would I do without this clown of a wife?
Okay, that is not my reading, right? So let's see this one again, once again. The clown's wife. The clown's wife. You want to pay your attention on this clowns, this apostrophe, right? Clown's wife. This apostrophe says, right? This apostrophe says that the wife belongs to the clown. The wife belongs to the clown, right? Clown's wife, right? So about my husband, the clown. What would I say? What would I say? Now you can see about my husband, the clown. What would I say? The word order has been changed, right? Word order has been changed. How should I say it correctly, right? What would I say about my husband, clown? You got it? What would I say about my husband, the clown? But he has done a change, inversion, right? We call that as inversion. I will come to the techniques later. Just while in my lecture, I will talk some techniques, but don't worry about the words that you do not realize, right? So therefore I just go on explaining it later in tute, right? I'll teach you what technique is there and all, right? So about my husband, what would I say? What would I say about my husband, the clown? My husband is clown. What would I say? Right? Ask the question. What would I say? Because there is certain hesitation, and that makes us curious, right? What is she going to say us? It's like dramatizing, right? It's dramatizing, right? Now the wife is trying to say something about the husband, right? On stage, second verse, right? Now look at this first verse, two lines verse. Two-line verse we call couplet. What do you call it? The couplet. But here, the second verse, you can see the second verse, 3 lines. Right? The verse is changed. The verse size is changed. Right? Irregular versification. You call it irregular versification. Not regular. Not 2, 2, 2. Right? 3 lines now. Triplet. On stage, he is a different person. On stage, he's a different person. You must know who clown is. Right? He comes in the circus. And after this first lecture, okay, I will show you a little video about clown. Right? You call in Sinhala, I think, Kavatea. Right? What is it called, Neroshan? Clown in Tamil? Just tell me. No problem. Video, it's okay. Not no. Right, it's okay. Right? So I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that in Tamil. Right? Clown is a Vikataya, Kavatea like, right? Who comes in the circus and all would have seen at least the experience about the video experience is there. Right? On stage, he's a different person. Right? He entertain everybody. He gives us a fun, right? He's a funny character. He has a lot of talents, right? He knows to juggle the balls, 5 balls at a time, or sometimes he knows to the cartwheel, and sometimes he knows to balance his body differently, right? A lot of magic there, right? So on stage, he's a different person. Up there, he's a king on a throne. Now look at this up there. Right up there. Right here up there. Right. He's a different person. He's a different person. Up there means on the stage he's a different person. On stage he's a different person. There means here stage. You got it? Right. And he's a king on a throne. Up there on the stage, he's a king on a throne. He's a king on a throne. What is a king on a throne? King, the king is a very powerful character. Right? He belongs to the whole country. Right? But he's most powerful when he is on the throne. What is the meaning of throne? What is the meaning of throne? Throne means we call it Singhasana, and the special chair for the king, right? At his palace. That is a special. Nobody can sit there, and when he sits there, his order is order for the country. He's a king on a throne. Everybody's attention goes to him, right? Everybody is scared, right? And everybody worships, right? He's a king on a throne. That means a total. He has drawn on the stage. When the clown comes to the stage, everybody is looking at this. You got it? Everybody is just looking at this, and he is wondering, right? And just eager to know, everybody eager to know what's going to happen. Right? So he's a king on a throne. Everybody does not want to miss this chance. What he's going to do? Right? Such attractive character on stage. And there the special, everybody is waiting to have a fun there. Right? Certain amazing things, but he does sometimes certain jokes. Right? It's his duty to make everybody laugh. Make everybody laugh. Right? He's a king on a throne. But at home, you should hear him mourns. My God. There's a total contradictory idea, opposite idea. Right? At home, look at this at home, what's happening to this man? At home. Right? He's, you should hear. You should hear. Remember this word, you should hear. You should hear. On the break card, right? You should hear. Obasiya yutui. Right? You should hear. Right? Because nobody thinks that such a funny character is different. It is not the same thing. Right? It is not the same thing. You should hear him mourns. What does he do? Mourns. What is mourning? When somebody is in the pain, especially the men, right? They groan, like, right? And mourns in pain, You see, that sound is mourn. When somebody is in pain, mental pain, you see, if you go and eavesdrop, if you go and just peep into his house, you will see his actual. This is, I am the clown, I am the clown's wife. Right, clown's wife, right, the first person narration. Right, you should hear, right, you should hear him mourns. You should hear him mourns. His mourning is there. Right, that I know. But on the stage, he is a king on a throne. Everybody wants to see him, to have a fun, to have entertainment. Everybody, the whole thing, all the audience is thrilled. Right, all the audience is thrilled. What's the thrill? The peak point of the entertainment. Thrilled. Right, because of his work. But at home, you should hear him mourn. It's a very sympathetic. Look at it. Right, very sympathetic situation. What is he going to say about the clown? Contradictory idea. Contradictory means opposite idea. Right? So, we move on to the third verse. That is also a triplet. The moment he walks through that door, the moment he walks through that door, what is that door, children? That door, right? So I want to write this, that door. That door, what is that door? Door that is entered to their home. Home means, what is a home, children? Home and house, that's two idea. Home means where there are your family members all live in the house with the family members, you call it as a home. You can have one home. House is a building. At home means where there is a family lives. At the doorstep, when he entered the house, through that door, without the red nose, you have seen my husband as a clown. He is wearing a big red nose here. You may remember, big red nose, right? So, without that funny nose and his clothes, hair, and his colorful, different, right, differently made, peculiar, strange dress, right? So, with the funny clothes, you have seen with the funny clothes. But remember, without this red nose and without the funny clothes, right? Without them funny clothes. There's a peculiar idea, right? Them. Without his funny clothes and something grammatical problem comes. Right? I'll come to that. Right? So he seemed to have the world on his shoulder. Where he seemed to have the world on his shoulder. He compares, seems to walking, right? He's like a person who is carrying a whole world on the shoulder. Right? If you have a big weight on your head, shoulder, you cannot talk, right? You cannot move on, and very difficult, not just to moving, you cannot smile. See? But you can smile if there are a big weight on the head, shoulder. So he is that. Who's that? The clown, my husband. Whenever he enters that house, my house, he's a moody person. Right? Seem to have the word on his shoulder. Word on his shoulder. Whole word is on his shoulder. Right? So I don't know what happened to this man. Right? But you know, he's a funny character. With a red nose, with colorful dress, right? Doing a talented and wonderful things to draw the whole audience audience attention and playing tricks, card tricks, right? So many things he does it. You know that man, but he's my husband. He's a different person when he comes to home. That's what she says. Right? So about my husband, what could I say? That's the problem that she's having. Everybody wants to know, oh, how is your husband, right? He might be doing a lot of things at home, right? He might be doing some juggling, right? The balls and playing with you and making you happy, keeping you happy. That is how you might think. But see the different, right? See the different. And I do mean the best. It's the next verse, right? Now look at this. I do my best. Here the next verse, right? When you come to the fourth verse. When you come to the fourth verse, children. There are 4 lines. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 lines. Quatrain, you call in literature. That is called, the 4-line verse is called quatrain. 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 I do me best him. I do me best. Look at this one word. It should be mine, don't you think? It should be my best. But here the poet uses the wrong grammar. I do mean best to cheer him up. Now we have to think. That is, I do means I do my best. To cheer him up. To make him happy. To make him happy, I do my best. Right? What does she do? What does she do? Let's see. What does she do? Right? I juggled with eggs. I turned cartwheels. You know, I juggled with eggs. Right now, clown juggled with the balls. Right, this way. 3 balls, 4 balls, sometimes 5 balls. They do juggling. Right, in front of the audience. And I turned cartwheels. They have a lot of turnings, right? And the cartwheels, actually, it's a symbol. So one thing, right? He does a lot of the exercises, balancing, right? Cartwheel and the turning and jumping. So many talents he's having, walking on the line, right? Yet it's a symbol. It's a cartwheel. I play cartwheel. I know that is a clown's wife, right? I know cartwheel. Right, what is the cartwheel? You keep this hand and keep the other hand on the floor and spring round. Right, you move the legs round to the other side and you play that one. Right, I turn the cartwheel. I tell jokes. Who is I there? Actually, who is I children there? I forgot to tell you. Who is I? Right. This one is right. Right. Who's I there? I do my God. Right. I. So I means the clown's wife. This is her point of view. Clown's wife's point of view. Right, regarding the clowns, about the clown. Right? So I do me best. Right? I juggle eggs. Where? In front of this man. Right? Why? Because whenever he enters the home, when he is at home, he is a man who is carrying the whole world on his shoulder. No smile, no the entertainments, no funny things, right? He's a man, he's a moody person who's looking at this way always. Right? So that I wanted to make him, I love him, I care him, I need you to know him, I want to make him happy. After all, he is my wife, he's my husband, he's my husband. So I juggle the eyes, right? I turn cartwheels, I tell jokes. I just prick him and tell him jokes. I do my latest, I do me latest. Look at this again. I do my latest card tricks, the card packs, they're having tricks, the magic. I even have borrowed his nose. Sometimes I go and take his nose, red nose, and wear it. It is in the Almira, so I wear it and just do jokes. Right? Why does she do it? Why does she do this, children? Because she wants to make him happy. She feels sorry. She feels sorry. This man is not happy. He is not the same clown when he comes home. So she struggles. She has a question. She has a confusion. Right? She's confused. Why this man? What happened to him? So she loves this man. She wants to make him happy. She tries differently. Tries to keep him happy. I think you understand it, right? Now let's move on to the next one, children. But he doesn't say exactly. How he feels. I do my cartwheel. I do have big attempt. But he doesn't say, right? I borrow his nose. He doesn't say exactly how he feels. He doesn't say me exactly how he feels. How he feels when I do these jokes, when I talk him seriously, whenever I meet him, right? So when I try to have a conversation with him, he doesn't say, he doesn't say how he feels. Right? So maybe not having the mutual understanding. Or not quite good relationship. Right? We don't know the reason, right? We not know the reason. Anyway, he doesn't say. She says. She doesn't say me how he feels, right? And doesn't say what's bothering him inside. And he doesn't say when I play how he feels, when I talk how he feels, or he doesn't say what's bothering him inside. What's bothering him inside? What a problem a burning problem that he was having in his mind. Right? What's bothering him inside his mind? He doesn't say anything. Right? And just to sit there saying almost to himself. He says to himself. Right? So she hears. What does she hear? She hears, right? Just to saying almost to himself. And look at this. What is a himself, children? So, right? Himself. He says to himself, not to me. Right? Sometimes when the person is in a moody or sometimes dreamy state of a dream, they just look out this way and say, what to do? Right? That way they say something to themselves. Similarly, right, he is saying almost to himself. He's saying almost to himself. Whole life. You see, whole life. Why does she say that? Why does he say that? Whole life. What is it for? So he said it, right? He is in a fully confused. He is fully confused. Mind is complicated. Right? He's not happy. He wondered about the life. Why? Maybe he's having a big problem. Right? Now I give you one idea. Right? One idea. he may be having some problems, right? What are the problems the people have, which they are, why he cannot say to his wife? Maybe he is having social threats, right? It's one thing. Socially, threats, right? And he's having the problems in his job, right? And having a problem in the security, right? And mainly, almost all the people have money, right? The problem of their money to fulfill their needs, to meet their needs, right? So when they take it serious, their mood has been automatically changed. Mood has been automatically changed. Right? When you take something very serious, right? Very serious, automatically now these days you can see the people. Some people they do not want to talk to the other people, because they have taken that serious, the corona problem, that is serious problem, right? I just said no, right? But the people, their attitudes, their behavior, their styles have been changed recently, right? Due to this corona problem, right? So similarly, the same way, right? Our life, we may be having some problems of his living, right? He wants to pay a lot of money for the tenants, right? And the tenants, right? He has to earn a lot of money for the children. Maybe a lot of troubles he's having, but as a profession, he entertains the people. Otherwise, if he fails, then he lost it. He does it. Yet, right, the person cannot be happy in his personal life. Why? Because he's having his own problems. It's very sympathetic. Oh, life, he says to almost himself, oh, life. What should I do without this? What should I do without this? What is this, children? What is this then? What should I do without this? What is this? Without being moody, without being the man who's have the world on his shoulder. Right, he seems to have the world on his shoulder. Without this, right, do you think that I want to be a clown at home? Right, so I have to be this way because I have a lot of problems. Right, for my needs, my expenditure, my children expenses. Right, my children expenses. With this all, right, what would I do without this? This is what I do. I know it. Right, I know I can do only this. Right, what would I do without this? Right, I wanted to give a lot. I wanted to have a lot. Right, for my earning, for my needs. But I can do only this one. He's a serious person. What would I do without this clown of a wife? Clown of a wife. Wife can engage clown with her. Father of children. Right. So whether that is a clown of a wife or man of a wife. Right, teacher of a wife, or the principal of a wife, principal of a family. Right, so he has a lot of burden in the head. Responsibilities, a lot of responsibilities towards the family. So when the family responsibilities comes to the head, he thinks of his the resources, earnings, income. But when these things are not there, he finds it's not secure. It's not no security, no the money to meet the needs. So many problems. For schooling, school ban, lot of children, lot of things, right? Lot of expenditures, right? So just to sit there and saying almost into our life, what would I do without this clown of a wife? Clown of a wife. And again a question, you see, this is a rhetorical question. You call it a rhetorical question. Question is there, no answer. This is the climax of the sentence. Climax, the peak point. This whole complication reveals here. The whole complications, his problem that is existing in the mind, right? His suffering, a problem that he's suffering. Right, is revealed here. What is here? What should I do without? This is the climax, right? Which brings the conflict of this poem, right? So I think you understood about the poem, and let's recite it again, children. Right? The clown's wife. About my husband. If you have any problem, just mark it well. And then thereafter, my second session of this lecture, after watching the video, right? And I will have another explanations and with literary techniques that is there, and we are going to answer some questions. While doing that, that will be solved. That problem will be solved. Right? If it is not, you give me a call, right? About my husband, the clown. What could I say? Rhetorical questions, no answer. Now she says about the husband. On stage, he is a different person. On stage, he is a different person. Up there, he is a king on a throne. On the stage, he is a king on a throne. But at home, you should hear him moans. You should hear him moans. His suffering, his worrying, his pain, you should hear. Right? Right. Then the moment he walks through that door, door to home, where the families live. Right, at the time that he enters the door, without that red nose and then funny clothes. His funny clothes and funny nose, red nose, without them. When he comes like an ordinary man, as a father, as a husband, when he enters there, he seems to have the world on his shoulder. Right, he is a moody person who is having a big weight in his mind. He is in a problem, always. Not that fun. I expect that he will be fun. Right. And I do my best. This man continues this. What is this? This man continues this mood. Right. Serious mood. Right. And I do my best to cheer him up. The poor soul, right? Poor soul, innocent, helpless man. Right? She feels sorry. Right? It's an ironic or the sarcastic way she said it. Right? Poor soul, innocent fellow. So then I want to do, I just love him because he's my husband. Right, I juggled with eggs and I turn cartwheels. So I do what he does at home. She becomes a clown at home. Right, clown is the spectator now. I tell jokes. I do the latest card tricks. I play jokes. I just sometimes prick him, pinch him, and tell jokes. And I play card tricks. And I even have the burrow his red nose. Sometimes I wear his red nose and just come that way. Right? But you see, but the word but. Although I do these things, but he doesn't say exactly what he feels, how he feels. He doesn't say me exactly how he feels. Right? He does not say me. He does not reveal me. He does not have conversation or the discussion with me about his problems. Right? And doesn't say what's bothering inside him. He doesn't say what's bothering. I know something, one thing. What is it? Something is bothering him in his mind. Bothering his mind. Right? Some problem is existing in the mind. Otherwise the people cannot stand this way, this moody. Right? Just sits there and saying to himself. He just sits there and saying to himself, oh life, life. What should I do without this clown of a wife? Clown of a wife. Right? Husband of a wife. I'm a husband of a wife. So, my profession is clown. Right? Maybe I have a lot of problems. My security, my expenditure, so many things. So, what can I do? Right? His ultimate helplessness has been revealed there. Right? I think you understood this the poem well, right? So I play a small video about the clown, right, to have the more understanding, and then let's move on to the second section of this video, right? Yes, watch this, the clown. Okay, right. So I think you enjoyed that video and have a certain good idea about this clown, right? Now here we are going to learn about the poem and what important things that you have to learn in there. What is the theme of it, right? And how do you set for the essay type question, so on, right? So first, this is a master. Remember, children, you have to learn by heart these things, especially the spelling for Johnson Agar. Right? The word is, if you write the wrong spelling of the poet's name, it's a big mistake because you are not familiar, and it's a mistake that you cannot do the exam. Right. So the sit-at questions you have to write, and the contextual questions too you have to write his name. So Johnson Eckert was born in 1949. It's the latest, the quite recently, right? The modern era. 1949, and he grew up in the Georgetown in British Guyana. Now it's Guyana, right? So he was born in Guyana, right? Guyana was under British. It was a British colony like Sri Lanka, and but probably they learned in English medium only, because their vernacular language is not that developed, right? So British Guyana and now Guyana, and he shifted to England 1977 he shifted to England with his parents. I think father went there. So, and he worked, I just give you only the summary, worked in BBC London, and he was awarded, he is a poet. As a poet he was awarded the Paul Hamling Award and the Queen's Gold Medals for poetry. Right, at least learn these things about to write about poetry, at least, right? So if you like, you can just go to the net and find about the poet, right? He's a black, right? And let's move on to the next one, children. Read the poem. Now I just take the tute, right? And you can find the things in the board also, if you like. You have to refer to this one. And read the poem and answer the questions, following questions. Who talks about the clown? Right? Who talks about the clown? Just quickly write your answer. Who talks about the clown? The short answers are all right, right? Yes, your answer is talks about his wife is talking about. His wife talks about the clown. His own wife. Clown's wife. Many answers, but the idea should be there. How does the clown look like when he is on the stage? How does he look like when he is on the stage? You can see this question. Right? How does the clown look like? Looks funny. I'm sorry, you write it. Your answer. When he's stage, how does he look like? Yeah, your answer should be short, right? So the answer should be, he looks funny, right? He's an entertainer, right? And you cannot write, he's a king on a throne, is not that correct? Right? King on a throne is a different idea. I'll come to that. And he looks funny. How does he look like? How does he look like? Painfully common. He looks funny. That's the idea. Right? Making others think other one happy. Right? And how does the clown behave when he comes home? How does he behave home when he comes home? Yes, I give you 1 minute. Just write your answer. Write your answer. How does the clown behave when he comes home? It's better if you write with a pencil, because you can erase and write it. Okay, right. Now you can, you can pause the video and write your answer and continue mine, right? So my answers, therefore I just go on. Right, I move on to the next one. Right? How does the clown behave when he comes home? Right, you can say, when he comes home, right, he's a man who has the whole world on his shoulder, the extraction of the coin. He's serious, not easygoing. He's a serious, he's a moody person. These words, combination of these words, is moody, right, serious, and not funny, as a clown, right? So your answer, you have to include, with the extraction, you have to explain. How does he do it? And the next one is, what does the wife do to cheer him up? It's a funny thing, you can write the verse and verse. Yes, come on, write your answer. Stop my video and write your answer. Then you can see whether you are right. Please do according to my instructions. Please write. If you just go on getting my answers, you won't be successful, I feel. Right, it's up to you. So please do accordingly. Right, come on. What does the wife do to cheer him up? So she, not I there, she juggles legs and she plays card tricks, latest card tricks. She tells jokes to him, and she, what else? She was doing my cheer him up, the poor soul, and juggle, he turns cartwheels, she turns cartwheels, and so on, right? So such things. She behaves like a clown, right, at home to cheer him up, to make him happy. Right. Go to the next question. Does the wife know what goes on inside her husband's mind? Does the wife know what goes on inside the husband's mind? Does she know it, children? Yes, write your answer. If you write just a yes or no, write a little more on that. Right. The answer is the no. Wife doesn't know. I don't know what's bothering him inside. Right? I don't know what's bothering him inside. Bothering him inside. Right? So she doesn't know. But she wants to know. Right? Because she is the wife who cares husband. Her care is there for husband. Right? He is the breadwinner. So that wife tries to keep him happy. Right? As much as possible. Right? Do you think he is happy? Do you think he is happy? The clown is happy. Why? Yes. First write your answer. Stop my video and write your answer and try to see it. Right? The answer is he is not happy. He is not happy. So why? The question why? Right? You have to say he may be having, or he may. The word may should be there. It's not clear. It's not clear. We guess something. Right? He may be having some problems in his mind. Right? You cannot say he's unhappy, right, because of wife. Right? So he does the profession. In the profession he is a very funny character. But he may be having some problems of money, security, threats, right, and so on. Right, is a place of living, or okay, the house, right, his children's problems, and he may be having some problems. Right, we don't know it properly, exactly today, but tell it, but just believe that that is his problem of money. Right. And what does the clown say to himself? Why? What does the clown say to himself? Why? What does clown say to himself? Come on, write your answer. You can write the extraction and say why. What does he say? Oh, life, our life. What would I do without this? What would I do without this clown of a wife? Clown of a wife. Right? Means, right? Why does he say? Right? Although I am a clown. Why does he say this one? Although I am a clown. Right? I have a wife, I have a burden of a family. I have a burden of a family. So my income, my personal income, we believe one, just take one. Right, my income, this does not meet my livings, or does not enough for what I dream, to achieve my dreams. Right, so why do I worry? That is the reason, right? So there is a note, you can see, children. Note. Now after writing these things, children, as you have to have your self-study, right, about these questions and the answers, right, and should be very clear, right? Should be very clear. Right, now look at this note. The poem looks at the life of the clown through the eyes of his wife. See my notes, remember? Now I gave you about Johnson Edgar, right? So you have to study that by heart. That is a must, remember. Right? That is easy when you answer the questions. And this note, the poem looks at this actually now I have selected some from the teacher's guide. The poem looks at the life of the clown through the eyes of his wife. Through the eyes of his wife. Wife ki kone. Right tamai dekhi. Poem dakhi. This brings out authentic or accurate fact of his real life. Right? This brings out, because wife is the closest person for a man. Wife knows all the Chandika, weight of the husband. So through the wife's eyes, right, through the wife's eyes, right, so it is authentic. Authentic, it means actual or real, authentic. Sabah, Satya, right? Authentic or accurate fact of his real, right? Accurate fact of his data of his real life, actual his life. You will see only his profession in his profession, right? His actual life is this. The message created of the clowns is sympathetic, right? The message, this message that brings in the poem, right, created the clowns is sympathetic. What is the meaning of sympathetic, children? Sympathetic. Feel sorry. Right, feel sorry. Dukha, right, feel sorry. His life is sympathetic. He's not a rich man. He likes, he wants, right, to have his own car, has his own flat or house, right, his own way of living, touring, right, and without mixing with the other people. So, or else he wants to help the people, right, to give good living to the children. But although he entertained, he thrilled the whole audience, his actual life is sympathetic. Right, keep this in mind, learn it by heart. Right, let's move on to the next page. What can you say about the relationship between the clown and his wife? Now this part, this page, children, don't write down answers. I discuss the answers after my discussion, after this lesson. You have to write your answer and bring it to me when you collect the next tune. That's how I didn't give you the 2 tunes at a time, at once. You know why? Because I know my children better. Right? They like to listen to nice stories of Sia. Right? Sia ke Papa. It's not that. Right? You have to write your answer. If you write, you become a good writer. If you become a good writer, you go for A for English. Right? Your writing will be improved only if you write. If you do not write, so that won't be improved. That happens on children now. They have good knowledge. They have good knowledge. They know every nook and corner and head to foot. Yet, they do not get good results. C maximum. Why? Because they do not write answers. Right? Please, therefore, now this may continue, this online class may continue till August or September, we not know when will this finish. Right? Therefore, I hope that you all write the answer, and when you want to collect the next one, you have to give me this script answer. But I can plead on you, right? You can cheat me. When I tell you the answer, if you just copy it down, write it down. So by dictation, your writing will not be improved. Keep it in mind. You can make your mistakes, no worry. You're all children, right? And first question, what can you say about the relationship between the clown and his wife? What can you say about the clown and his wife? Their relationship is distant relationship. Right? Distant relationship. And distant relationship. There is not close relationship. They do not have much mutual understanding. Right? Maybe a clown believes his wife is not educated. Right? His wife is not educated. Why do I say his wife is not educated? The poet made a trick. You know what's the trick? Right? He used some grammar errors. Look at this poem. Right? Look at this. I do me best. Me best. Grammar errors. But there was another one. Right? And them clothes. Right? Them clothes. Right? Yeah. Without the red nose and them funny clothes. It is some grammar errors. Right? Grammar errors. Because it's a first person narration. First person. First person narration is a Mamata Maitri. Right? The eye of the mind. Right? She says. She herself says. So that may be one reason. Right? That may be one reason why. What can you say about the relationship between? Maybe that may be the reason. Right? So the poet uses the grammar errors. Grammar errors to show what? The uneducated level, education level of the wife. Education level of the wife. Therefore, when he must be believing, or he must think that my wife is talking with my wife. Right? Let her be happy, so I want to get this on her. Right? Maybe that may be a reason. Or if you have a problem, right? You do not want to solve the problem. You know that if you tell the problem to your friend, right? So that won't be solved. Question is, then they are not here. So what is the use of telling it? Right? Similarly, right? So he might think it is a pointless telling him. So they have no mutual understanding and a distant relationship, not a close relationship. Right. Question 2. What can you say about the lifestyle or social background of the two characters? What can you say about the lifestyle and the social background of the two characters? Find extraction to prove your answer. Right? Prove your answer. Extractions. What can you say about their social background? You can say she is not that much educated because some grammar mistakes there. But she's a simple, right? Simple, easygoing woman, right? Who cares the husband? You got it? Who cares the husband? Simple, easygoing. You can write that word if you like, right? And she's not that much serious. So, but she cares, right? I do my best to cheer him up. That's extraction. But this person, right? He's a social style. He may be having some talents, and he having some certain level of the class people to have a company, right? He wants to maintain a big social level, so that he always is moody, and he does not want to. He's serious person, right? All life, right? And he seems to have the world on his shoulders. So these are the extractions that you can get it. And make it small and write a short answer, right? And let's go on to the next one. You want to write, use this space. Use this space and write, okay? And which aspects of the life does the writer discuss in this poem? What is the impact of the challenge of the role has on it? Right? Which aspects of the life does the writer discuss in this poem? Which aspects of the poem, the life? Right? So, which aspects of the life does the writer discuss in this poem? What is the impact the change of the roles has on it? What is the idea that brings this to change of roles? Now, what is it in roles? He plays two roles. On stage, he plays a role of a clown. Right? At home, he plays a role of a husband. Moody person, serious, right? And not funny. Right? So roles. Now you also play different roles. In the school, with your friends, your mothers, right? Your father, in front of your father. And when you go to the religious place, you have different roles. Isn't it? So he plays the two roles. But these two roles are contradictory, opposites. That is the issue. Right? They are not similar. They are equal. Now look at this. No equalities. Right. The answer is here. Right? The poem deals with difference between the appearance and the reality. Learn this by heart. Because when you write the set-type questions, these things that I've given you should be entered. You have to write.
The poem deals with the difference between the appearance and the reality and suffering. Appearance and reality. The painted face and real face. Painted face. Right? So appearance. When you go to the, in profession, people have certain different appearance. They wear dress right differently and they behave different, they maintain different characters. But that is not the real appearance and the reality. Suffering of poor and suffering of poor. Remember this word, the poor. Right? Right. Suffering of poor. Right? Suffering of the poor. The Patungi, right? Pelin. In Sinhala, I don't know how to say it in Tamil, I'm sorry. So, suffering of poor. Clowns are traumatic. Traumatic means dual. The double. Dual life. Traumatic life. Right? Yes, a traumatic. He comes like a king on a throne stage. Right? Traumatic life. But when he enters the war, he is a man who holds the whole world on his shoulder. And while he's suffering, although he's suffering, he makes the other people happy. He entertains the people. Right? Because it is his profession. And he has to put on the happy face before the audience. He has to put on a happy face before the audience. Right? He has to put on a happy face before the audience. Before the audience, he has to have a painted face. Painted face in right? Changed his face and mood. And there you have to write some notes. If you like this word, the traumatic, right? You want to traumatic. This one to go. Shall we? Traumatic. Right? It's a dual word, dual. And you want to write this down. But, write this down, but it has you want to continue this on. This is the theme of this, right? This is the theme of this point. Right? But it has a universal applicability. 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 What is that? Universal applicability. Means it can apply for the whole world. Right? All the people in the world. This can be applied to a teacher. When he comes to the school and in front of their teacher, students, he plays different roles. Right? When he goes home, they come across a problem. Right? When his children get sick. Right? So different character. Right? So it is a universal applicability where the application where you write in the space there is like where. Almost all the people in the world, nearly the same. Almost all the people in the society or the world, nearly the same. This can be applied to anybody, even to the president's life. Right? President's life is applicable to anything. This thing. Right. Now you can see the study the poem and analyze it structure, the plot. How does the poet has done this poem? Now, first two couplets, right? And the poetic techniques. The poetic techniques and what he has done. About my husband, the clown, what could I say? So here you have word order is changed. Word order is changed. Right? So what could I say about my husband the clown? That is a technique. Right? You can write here. You can write here in front of it. Inversion. The technique is inversion. I have not mentioned that technique in the other page. Now we have write down inversion. I-N-V-E-R-S-I-O-N. Inversion. Inversion means change of words. Please write it down. Change of words or word order. Change of word order to show. Hesitation and confusion. Hesitation and confusion. Hesitation and confusion. Hesitation and confusion. Right? Hesitation and confusion. Hesitation means not firm, strong, accurate. Confusion. Right, cannot analyze it. Hesitation and confusion. So the poet used the technique, that is inversion. Inversion, right. So first one, the couplet. There's a couplet. So the poet introduced, that is introduction part of this poem. Right, introduction part of this poem, the wife's view, right, to somebody. Right, wife's point of view about the husband to somebody, to the audience, to the reader, to the listener. Right. Next verse. On stage he is a different person, up there he is a king on a throne, but at home you should hear him moans. So this one, right, this one, bring the curiosity. That brings the curiosity. Right, the idea, bring curiosity. Right, step 2, it brings the curiosity. Make us we feel that we want to know something different. Right, clown, he's a good person, he's a funny character, is what we are expecting. Right, so this make the reader curious. This make the reader curious. What is it? On stage he is sitting on a throne. That is true, that you know, but at home you should hear him mourn. What mourns for the clown? What mourns the clown? That was the question that make us curious. The poet make us curious. And next triplet, right? The poet said, the moment he walks through the dead door without that red nose and them funny clothes, he seems to have the world on his shoulder. He seems to have the world on his shoulder. He seems to have the world on his shoulder. And actually, he's actual at home. Right? See the plot, the structure. Right? He's actual at home. Right? His actual life. It is not as you know. Right? His actually is here.
The moment he walks through that door without the red nose, it is not this way that you know him. Right? And then next quatrain, the fourth line. Right? I do me best to cheer him up. The poor soul, I juggle him with eggs, I turn cartwheels. I tell jokes. I do me best the latest card tricks. I even have to borrow his red nose. Right? So her try to cheer him. Her try to cheer him. Her attempt to cheer him. Right? That is the word, that is the purpose of this verse. Right? Then the next verse, the fifth one. But doesn't say exactly how he feels. Doesn't say what's bothering him inside. Just to sit there saying almost to himself. So his response. Right? She tries a lot to make him happy, but his response. Right? His response. And finally, she said it. All life, our life, what would I say? What would I do? What would I do without this clown of a wife? That is the climax. That is the climax, the peak point, the conflict of this. The conflict of this. Right? You want to write this before this verse, children. Here you want to write before the all life, our life. Before the last verse, write this down. It is a matter of life. It's a matter of life. M-A-T-T-E-R, matter of life. How he becomes complex and complicated. Complex and complicated. C-O-M-P-L-E-X and complicated. C-O-M-P-L-I-C-A-T-E-D. Complicated. Full stop. He delivers his displeasure. He delivers his displeasure. He delivers his displeasure. Over his life, not wife, over his life, L-I-F-E. Displeasure, not pleasure, not happy. Right? He delivers, he says, he conveys, he expresses. Right? He delivers his displeasure over his life as a clown. Life as a clown. Always life as a clown. Life as a clown. Shall I read it again? It is a matter of life how he becomes complex and complicated. He delivers his displeasure over his life as a clown. Right. Fifth verse, you have to write down. Right. Fifth verse, you have to write this verse. Before this verse, right, you have to write. But he doesn't say exactly that. Lacking of mutual understanding. Now what is mutual understanding? Understanding each other. Right? Lacking of mutual understanding and no strong relationship. No strong relationship. And the next verse, verse 4. I do my best to cheer him up, the poor soul. I juggle with the eyes and I turn the cartwheel, I tell jokes. I do my best to latest card tricks. I even borrow his red nose. There you want to write this before this one. Grammar errors. It is not relevant to this one, right? There are some other places. Grammar errors to show the education level of his wife. The education level of his wife. But caring wife. She is a caring wife. C-A-R-I-N-G. Balagan, Balakiagan, caring wife who understands the feeling of the clown. Who understands the feeling of the clown. She does not understand what's bothering him, but she understands what? She understands something is bothering him in him. The prashna about again her caring. That is her caring. Right? She's a caring. Right? She's not a bad woman. Understand the feeling of the clown. Feeling of the clown. Shall I read it again? Grammar errors to show the education level of wife, but caring wife who understand the feeling of the clown. Right, let's move on to the next page, children. Find the poetic devices and their effects. Find the poetic devices and their effects. Right? And poetic devices, by techniques. Right? Rhyming pattern. Right? So, I think everybody of you know the rhyming pattern, but I just show you the rhyming pattern of this one, right? Little once again, right? This one, right? Yeah. Now you see, on stage, he is a different person. About my husband, the clown, what could I say? Right, this couplet, I mark it A. Right, I mark it A. The last verse, right? About my husband, what could I say? A. You just write it A. What could I say? Clown, say. There is a different B. There is no regular rhyming pattern in the first verse. Irregular rhyming pattern, first couplet. On stage, he is a different person. Up there, he is the king on a throne. Person, I mark it A. Right? If you not know it, I'll just tell you in singer. If it says in the one way, right? Eka vidihota kiyavena. Person, right? Mason kela tibbana AA. But here, person, throne. Right? Throne B. Right? Throne mon. Then again B. A, B, B. A, B, B. Rhyming pattern. A, B, A, B, B. Next one. Look at this. Right? Right. Third one. On the moment he walks through the door without that nose, right? Door, big mark A, right? Without the red nose, and then finding clothes, door, clothes. B, right? He seems to have the shawl, the word on his shoulder. Door, shoulder, no. Clothes, shoulder, no. There is C, ABC. Regular pattern is not there. Irregular rhyming pattern. Now let's move on to the next one. I just do it a bit faster because I want to save the time. Sole, wheel, cartwheel, trick, nose. right? Soul, cartwheel. A, B. Trick, C. Nose. Soul, nose, no. A, B, C, D. Right? A, B, C, D, you can get it. A, B, C, D. Irregularity. Irregular rhyming pattern. Right? Irregular rhyming pattern. Irregular versification. Right? Verses are different. Not regular. Not equal. Same patterns. Right? Irregular versification. Irregular rhyming pattern. What is it for? Right? This poem brings irregularity. Right? Clown is suffering. Clown is moody. The man who entertained the whole audience, thrilled the audience, right, is suffering. Right? It is not a regular. It's not a regular thing. So the poet wants to give this idea, enhance this idea, bring this idea to the audience. Alright? So to the reader, right? Rhyming pattern, irregular rhyming pattern. You can write it down. And irregular versification, right? Irregular versification. Write this down, children. Why do we write the irregular versification? Convey the irregular life pattern of cloud. It is not only this one, irregular versification, irregular rhyming pattern, right? Convey. What's a convey? Tell. Say you the irregular life pattern. Irregular life pattern of the clown. Not a regular life pattern. Irregular life pattern of the clown. Right? So just write it down the front there. It coincide. Can I write? It coincide. It coincide. It coincide. Whoa. It coincide. It coincide. It coincide with the irregular life pattern of him. With the irregular life pattern of him. It coincides. What's the meaning of coincide, children? C-O-N-I-C-I-D-E. Coincides. Right? Coincides. What is the meaning of coincide? Right? You can see in number 10. You can see in number 10. Coincide. What is a coincide? Right? Number 10 you can see here. Coincides. Coincident. එකපාරට සිද්ධ වෙනවා වගේ idea එකක් නේ, right? The coincident. The occurrence in the poem or story simultaneously, at once, or occurrence of the striking manner, that දැනෙන විදියට කියන්නේ. Striking manner. ඒකටත් අපි කියනවා coincidence කියන්නේ. Right? King on a throne, here he mourns. Coincidence. King of a throne, here he mourns. Right? He's a king on stage, he's a king on a throne. Right? At home, here he mourns. Right? Both things happens together. So this painted face and his real face. So irregular things, not regular things. To emphasize this, the poet has used irregular versification and irregular rhyming patterns. Okay. Now number three, the language. The poet used the language is dictation. Right? The choice of words. Dictation is a choice of words. He uses simple words. Right, simple words, not a very colloquial or terms of archaic words, right? Use simple words and interrogative. Interrogative he uses. What is interrogative? Interrogative means children, questions, right? Questions, rhetorical questions. He uses in his and exclamations, oh like, and to create a friendly tone. He create a friendly tone, right? Use simple life, right? Interrogatives. What would I say? Right? What would I say? Right? And it's a friendly tone he uses. And the next one, paradox. Next technique is a paradox. Paradox means a contradictory idea. And tormenting life, right? Tormenting life. You know what's a tormenting means? A dwell. I gave you earlier. Dwell, tormenting life. Is tormenting life, right? Two faces, two different places, two behavior, two opposite behavior, right? So the paradox is that. Here you can say he mourns and he is a king on a throne. It's also paradox. Right, paradox. If you want, you can write some example paradox. Write this down. Here you want to write this down, children. Paradox. The characters are paradoxical. Opposite ideas. Paradoxical. The clown became the cynosure. The clown became the cynosure. Cynosure means a man who acts out, man who does who entertained, right? Cynosure on the stage. Cynosure off the stage, off the stage. He became the cynosure of the stage, but at home he became the spectator. At home he became the spectator. He became the spectator. At home he became the spectator. He's watching. Wife is the cynosure there. Wife is a clown. Right? Clown is a spectator. Right? Paradox. Right? That is a paradox. And number 5, metaphors and similes. You know what's a metaphor? These two are comparisons. Compare two things. Right? If you don't know this, what metaphor is, you can write one example. He is a lion in fight. He is a lion in fight. Wijesinghe is a metaphor. Right? He fights like a lion. Leel Wijesinghe seems to be, right, a lion. Seems to like, as if they use it, we call that is a simile. We call that is a simile. You know what's the difference between the metaphors and similes? I think most of you know, right? If you not understand, please write the two examples. He is a lion, he is a metaphor, right? He compares to a lion. He fights like a lion, is a simile. Right? That is not the cloud's wife, right? So, he uses metaphors, he uses similes to intensify the idea. Intensify, what is the meaning of intensify? To tell something forcefully. Adin, baling. Intensify. Right, now you have to write something there. Right? Simile. He seems to. Now, if you get the point, children, the other side, right, other side of the tube, you can mark it in the third verse. he seems to have the world on his shoulder. He seems, third verse, last line, you can write, that's a simile. Simile, right? Simile is that. He seems to, that's a poetic technique the poet uses there. He seems to have the world on his shoulder, right? And metaphor. He is a king on a throne, he's a metaphor. He's a king. King on a throne, Rajasane Vadi Rajuru. He's a king on a throne. It's a metaphor. And he mourns is a metaphor. Mourns is a metaphor. Right? How he worries, how he suffers, how he cries, how moody he is. Mourns is a metaphor. And there you want to write. He used metaphor to bring. He used metaphors to bring. What is the metaphor he uses? He's a king on a throne, but you should hear him mourns. There are some other places, especially the second verse. Right, you can see. He's a king on a throne. You should hear him mourns. It's a metaphor. Right, write that down. Write this down. He used metaphor to bring painted life, P-A-I-N-T-E-D, painted face, P-A-I-N-T-E-D, painted face, verse, V-S, painted face, verse. Cool. This one. Use the painted face, verse. Face, verse. Painted face, verse. Real face. Painted verse. Real face. Painted verse. Painted face, verse, real face. And we are learning the poetic technique or device, and why does he use it? And finally we have to analyze how these things are effective to convey his idea, how he plays it. Right? Poem is a verbal icon where we wrap up our punishable secrets. Where we wrap up our punishable secret. It's a verbal icon, icon. Right? You click it, and if in the computer, if you click the icon, you can go to the world. You can see the world, you can do a lot. Similarly, poem is an verbal icon. Right? We'll see whether that is true according to the Johnson Haggard's this poem. The next one, the conflict. The problem in the story or the plot. Right? The conflict comes in the problem in the story. What is the problem in the story? Painted face versus real face. What is it? What is the problem? Oh, life, our life, what would I say? That I've given in the tute. Right, last one, you can see the conflict. Right, how I give a note there. It's a matter of life, how it becomes a complex and complicated. He delivers his displeasure over the life as a clown. As a clown, his displeasure. He's not happy to be a clown. Because clown does not make him happy. Clown makes happy. Clown makes others happy, but clowns does not make himself happy. Clown. He's a clown. His clown means a bigger clown. Be a clown, he makes his life unhappy, displeasure. Okay, right. There's a conflict there. There's a conflict here. Climax. The most interesting and the most important place, or the exciting in the story, the play or poem is the climax. The last stanza, you can see the climax. I have given you, when you find the structure of the plot, I have given you I ask you to name them. Right, first poem. his introduction, that way I went on. So that is the plot, the climax, you can see the last one. Right, his displeasure as a clown, to be a clown. Irony, or the sarcasm. It's a very sarcastic, right? So if you not know the sarcasm, I will teach you. If I give the definition, that will be make you confused. If you do not understand, refer the dictionary or wait till the class starts. I teach you what sarcasm and irony, right? So it's opposites, you see, right? Poor Saul, right? You are right? Who tells it? Right? Poet mocks at the clown. Mocking. Apahas, something like, right? And show the miserable situation. To show his miserable situation. He uses this poor Saul, ironic or the sarcasm he uses. Right? He uses sarcastic language there. Right? He used sarcasm there to show, right, his miserable situation. It's a miserable situation. Right? King on a throne, oh poor Saul. Right? Visual imagery, dramatize, give out the proper image. I give any visual imageries. What are the visual imageries, children? I play card tricks. Right? If you go to the poem, you can see a lot. You see here, right? I do me best cheer him up to poor Saul. I juggle with the eyes and I turn card tricks. I tell jokes. I do my latest card tricks. I even have heroines. These are visual images. Gives us a mental picture. Right? These things gives us a mental picture of the incident or the poet and his wife and the poet to realize it, to convey us. The poet used these techniques to plant the idea, the stress, right? Plant the idea in our mind, right? So, what was in the poet's head? And the next one is language, paradox, irony, visual images, and rhetorical questions. Right? He creates the rhetorical the questions, write it down, create a dramatic effect and hesitation. Create a dramatic effect and hesitation. Hesitation. Right? Not stable. Dramatic effect. It's like a drama. What would I say? Right? What would I say? Dramatic effect. Right? So, because of the rhetorical questions. Oh, life, oh, life. What would I do without this? Right? Clown of a wife. So, rhetorical questions. So, dramatic effect. It brings it. The coincidence I will explain you, right? And then you can see, children, the vocabulary, cynosure. I told you, he became a cynosure on the stage. He's a person who acts out. Alright, he's an actor there. Alright. And sympathetic, feeling sorry, serious, taking something not the uneasy way. Right, serious. And traumatic means a dwell. And there you write the words, if you like, here. Humor. Right. Humor. Enjoyment. Amusement. These words are important to you. In your writing, you have to, when you write the compositions, write amusement, thrill, T-H-R-I-L-L, thrill, the peak place of the happiness of the enjoyment. Right. Now Now you can have a thorough study about the poem, and you can answer these contextual questions. So contextual questions, you can get it in the page number 4 and 5. Look at this. Page number 5. On there, he is a king on a throne, but at home, you hear him mourn. Right? So from which lines are these taken? The literary work, are these lines taken? Who wrote it? Right? As you feel you want to answer these questions, question number page 5 and 6, right? And you have to learn the poem by heart. Right? So I want that. In my Zoom class, I asked you to say it, right? Learn the poem by heart and have study about the poem very well, about its techniques, right? And you can have your own writing. Learn these the things, my notes by heart. That is how you have to prepare. When you finish answering these contextual questions in the page number 5 and 6, right? 5 and 6, you can come to the last one, that is essay type questions. When you write the essay type questions, how do you plan it? How do you write the answer? That will be in my second lecture. That will be a little bit shorter than this. Right, my first lecture is over, but I have a small request, everybody. Please remember to send me your email number. Right, because next time I will send the link to your email number. Therefore, please everybody send me your email number and answer these questions. And we'll meet on the next week, right? After answering this next week, according to our schedule I've given you, right? You have a timetable. So please do the work what I've given you, and then we'll see how you answer the essay type questions. After that, you have to bring all your answers to collect the second session of second tute, to get the second tute. Otherwise I won't give it to remember, right? This is, I have a responsibility, right? Therefore, please do it, and have a nice day, and thank you for listening to me. Bye everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.